Hello, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. We've had a few hot days here recently, and it's still going to be a warm day today. But anyway, we're going to have to make do with it. Nothing we can do about it, so we just hang in there. All right. The title of the lesson is Protecting the Wrong Life. And this subject may be a little sensitive to some people, might be even controversial for others, but it's something that needs to be said. All right, some time ago, I read an article about a giant bug that many thought had become extinct. I mean, there are a few islands off the coast of Australia that provided the habitat for a bug that was about 5 inches long. I mean, huge. These monster bugs used to live on one island. But apparently, in the late 1890s, early 1900s, there was a shipwreck, and so people swam to shore there. Of course, not only the people, but the rats came there. The story goes that the bugs became a favorite food for the rats, and soon there were no bugs, but many rats on that small island. And about 80 years later, a few scientists were studying the insect and plant life on a nearby island when they found insect droppings that were huge in bug terminology. See, thinking these bugs must be nocturnal, they did their investigation at night and they found the bugs. And so there arose a big conference about the bugs. Should they be returned to the original island where they were found so they could repopulate the species? Should they be taken and cared for in a zoo? Needless to say, a lot of study and money went into this project. And what they decided to do does not really matter here. I mean, when we think about it. See, the point is the fact that so many people get excited about bugs and other creatures, but they have hardly any concern for human life. You know, it is ironic that so many groups exist to protect the life of an insect or an animal, yet at the same time have no problem defending abortion. See, there's a group to protect the whales. Another group protects the seals and the polar bears. And of course, animal rights defenders will stop progress because of a bug or animal habitat, and they really don't care about the cost. They've just got to make a lot of noise about it. See, they stopped building of an airport because of a frog. They stopped the building of a freeway because of a spider. They nearly stopped the logging industry because of an owl. And I read a story many years ago about a man sent to jail for 6 months, and his crime? Killing a rat that was eating his garden up. I mean, it just kind of gets a little strange, but that's the extreme measures these people are going to go. And so I see it strange that everyone who is adamant about these things will defend the right of a mother to terminate the life of a child. See, if one mistakenly destroys an eagle egg, even if they don't intend to, they can be fined $250,000. But killing a baby? I mean, they act as if that's a natural thing to do. And they definitely have the wrong priorities here. See, something's very wrong with this picture. See, the Bible tells us that God created man and gave man dominion over every other living thing. And of course, man is special. Human life is special. And God recognizes us even while we're being formed in our mother's womb. And then, of course, people come along and take our life. So that's another word we could use is murder. And that's what it is. It's the deliberate taking of a life. And that fits the definition of murder. And so, while it may be true that mankind can do as he pleases with the animals, I am sure that acts of cruelty are something that God despises. See, they do use animals in science and in testing, not only testing makeup, but testing other products, testing drugs. And they use them. And of course, it doesn't work out great for the animals, but yet they do provide a benefit for mankind. And so Jesus said that God sees the sparrow and sees to its protection and its provision. God watches over the animals. You know, God gave the animals instincts so they could survive. And see, the thing is, God had to teach mankind what they needed to do to survive. So God had to teach mankind love, humility, and consideration of others, because these are not natural born instincts. In the natural world, it's everyone for themselves and the strongest survive. So when you think about it, mankind really has very few natural instincts to speak of. I mean, the instinct to survive, yeah, that is developed in a person, but as a young child, all right. So anyway, as a young child, um, that's I mean, instincts. That's all I can think of right now. I mean, they have the abilities to suck, but that's basically it. Every other thing a child has to be taught. And yes, that gets into emotions, that gets into feelings, and that gets into hatred and other things like that. So, of course, eventually God designed man so he could grow up and learn to take care of others. But sadly, that doesn't happen. See, if more people would learn to follow God's teaching, our world would be a better place. All right. See, our world we live in has many people who have rejected God's teaching. There's no question about that. God describes these as ungodly individuals. And we see so much murder and the taking of life these days. I mean, it's no wonder that this is taking place, because these people have devalued human life. They don't consider human life important. And so when our children are out there on the streets killing each other, they haven't been taught to value human life. And so, I mean, it's just the animal mentality of me first and survival of the fittest. And we see a lot of murder these days. And of course, the taking of life. And so, human life has been devalued so much by so much of society that when one is removed from life, hardly anyone pays attention. But it seems like the only thing that matters is the color of the skin of the one who did the killing. That seems to be the only thing that matters these days. And so, tell you what, you step on a bug, you might find yourself standing before a judge with charges of cruelty to a living creature. And, you know, the sad thing about it, these people will all claim, but these are God's creatures. We got to protect God's creatures. And yet human life, kill it, kill it, kill it is the only thing we hear. And that is wrong. The Bible says it's wrong, even by accidentally causing a woman to miscarry. I mean, you could be basically, if you weren't careful, you could be put to death for that in the old law. And so, yeah, we realize accidents happen, but the deliberate taking of a life, the only word for that is murder, and God said, thou shalt not. And so that's what it is. These people have the wrong priorities. They look to save the lives of the seals and the animals and the rats and the rodents and the bugs. But yet when it comes to human life, they brag about killing their own babies. And they march the streets protecting for the right to kill their own baby. You know, every one of these people are going to stand before God one day and give an account. And if they are this way, whether it's the abortionist who actually follows through with the mother's wishes, or whether it's the woman who decides to terminate her own child, I mean, they're going to have to answer for that, and they have committed murder. And so, like I said, very, very controversial subject. And yes, you could call it a political subject if you want. And we wish that it could be outlawed everywhere. A few states are trying, but then all these people who defend the right of it, they're getting lawyers and challenging that and taking it all the way to Supreme Court. And that's real sad. And when you think about our nation kills millions of babies every year. every year millions of babies, and then they want to cry about maybe one policeman shooting somebody, or they want to cry about this or that. Yeah, the world has the wrong priorities, folks. And so what we can do, we can pray, we can speak up, we can talk about this. I'm not suggesting you go blow up an abortion clinic or do any violence or cause any harm to life because of it. But folks, we've got to give the honor to God because we are a human being. God gave us our life, and through our parents, and so yes, we are special in God's sight, and we are made in His image. You know, Genesis 1 verse 26 tells us that. So, like I say, it's very important, and there's really not enough we could say about this subject. I mean, it's really pathetic, and so yeah, we can write all we want about to our Congress saying we reject the idea of abortion, it's murder, but we know where that's going to get us. So, folks, think about this very seriously, and if you want to share this message with others, if you have questions. And yeah, Royce, I saw your message. So yeah, it is definitely a subject that we need to consider and talk about and share with others. So for right now, we're going to end the lesson, and we will go ahead and call it a day. So y'all have a blessed day, and Lord willing, we'll be back here tomorrow with another message. All right, bye-bye for now.